Hello and welcome to the Minorities Report. I'm Chris.
I'm corrupt. Hello.
Hey, we watched some films. We watched one we really liked and one that we were kind of
Eh.
eh, about. But before we even get that, quick update on the Valkyrae scam. If you watched the previous episode, Reflect, the website, and also the Twitter account no longer exist.
Yep.
So after all this drama, because they announced before it was they deleted everything that while we believe in the formulations created, yeah, so much that you didn't want to show it on the site.
Yep.
Uh, After further reflection, have decided to move forward on new paths, effectively terminating the Reflect brand. If you go on the website, that's what it says. If you go on the Ulta Beauty website, you can't find any of their products because they were partnered with that brand. So, good job sticking to your guns.
Yeah. Like we stood behind this so much that
We didn't show the evidence because, companies might steal it.
I know, and we nuked our website. What's it called?
Yeah,
Reflect brand, right?
yeah, RFLCT, Reflect.
RFL RFLCT.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
Reflect.
Reflect brand.
Without the E's.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let me see. Reflect skincare line shuts down. Reflect Valkyries. Yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah,
Screen
so,
Rant and Tube Filter are both reporting that it's shut down, and Glossyco, which I'm guessing is a skincare line, is also reporting that that Reflect shut down.
yeah. And also, just found out about this. Might as well just throw it in because Jess also messaged me about this. Because I think we talked a little bit about this, maybe.
Mm.
For those who don't know, for season 14 of Doctor Who, Russell T Davies is back, the guy that brought Doctor Who back. That's good news. We don't have Chibnall anymore. Jodie, while she's a good actress, has had a terrible run. She's going. What just came out time of recording is that Russell T Davies will have full creative control. The BBC will not be interfering.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, Russell T Davies and his production company, Bad Wolf, will have complete control, creative
Uh,
control of Doctor Who from
all
season
right.
14 onwards.
Wow. One thing for Jess. Nigga, how about sending me some fucking stuff to talk about too? Like, you send me random shit to talk about. Like, you send me random shit in the DMs. You don't fucking give any context to it either. It's like, oh, look at this crazy thing I found. Like, haha, it's so funny. But you didn't tell me it's meant to be talked about on the podcast. You gotta give me context, and you got for the shit you send me. And also, if you're gonna send Chris shit, send it to me too, so I know what the fuck is going on. What the fuck? I send you quality stories, corrupt? No, you send them to Chris. I'm one half. I'm half of the podcast too.
But yeah, if this is true, this is kind of a big deal. I feel like not just
So
Chibnall, but
Russell
also
T.
Beep.
So
Also,
Russell T. Davies has complete control or creative control over Doctor Who now.
yes, apparently from what has been announced.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that means BBC is going to be missing out on commercial value every 10 episodes. Apparently, the Times reported that the BBC will miss out on up to 40 million pounds
Ooh,
in commercial revenue for every 10 episodes. So every 10 episodes, they don't get the BBC does not get 40 million pounds allegedly.
I'm surprised they're willing to give up control over Doctor Who like that.
Yeah, like this could be a good thing because I feel like
Russell T.
BBC
Davies.
was half the reason why a lot of the Chibnall stuff was just bad.
Oh yeah, they were completely. I
Did you
think.
know there's also the stuff with like what was it Idris Elba,
Yeah,
the whole you're not black enough or something like that whole
yeah.
thing.
That was from the BBC too, wasn't it? Or BBC?
Yeah, apparently I think so. Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah,
Like, yeah, because like the BBC also said they like like they liked the creative direction that Chibnall took the show in. So yeah, like getting rid of them, like seems like it would be a plus. I don't know if it'll be good or not, if it'll like be back to the glory days, but I don't know. This could be a
who
good
knows?
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could be a good
I
direction.
mean, the actual new season, Doctor Who Flux, actually kind of started off pretty well. It was actually pretty a solid episode. It wasn't perfect. It was actually a solid episode.
Really, you liked it?
Yeah, I kind of liked it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't perfect. There was some stuff I felt like it could have been taken out, but it was actually a solid episode. And if you want to hear me talk about it more, I'm on a Doctor Who channel with a couple of friends. Madman with a Box. I'll leave a link to that. You can check me out on there.
What the hell is that? Why did you tell me?
Oh, we only started it recently.
What the fuck?
It's just three of us. A friend, Comic Works. He reviews comics, but he also talks about Doctor Who. He's like, hey, we're gonna do some Doctor Who stuff. You want to join? He's like, I'll see what I can do. So we're gonna be talking about those at every episode of this new season. We'll probably be talking about this, the whole Russell T Davies getting complete creative control.
Yeah, because it sounds like it could be good news. It sounds like it could be good news. I'm cautious.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the thing.
cautious.
I'm still cautious. I don't know if this is like 100% true or if this is like 100% going to be a good thing. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait to see if it's.
Still have to get through this current season, Flux. So.
Let's see, like, and you liked it, huh?
Yeah, I liked it.
Let me say, well,
Which is weird because Chris Chibnall was writing every episode. I was like, oh no, this isn't. Oh no, this is bad. But it was actually it's decent.
all right. Well, let's see how it turns out then.
Yeah. So, all that news aside, movies. We're talking about Venom first, I believe.
Venom.
Venom, knock knock, let the devil in. Why was Eminem not in the film? Come on. That would have made the film better.
He should have had a cameo.
He should have been in the fucking club scene.
Oh my god, yeah, just rapping and shit.
He's just random. He's not even the main act. He's just a random guy in the corner rapping. That's an awfully hot coffee pot.
That's an awfully hot coffee.
But yeah, we watched Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah.
Starring Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson. The plot of Venom: Let There Be Carnage is that Carnage appears. It's essentially what it is.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cletus gets the. Actually, before that, we're gonna be spoiling everything in both movies we're talking about. So
Yeah.
if you haven't seen them, that's a you problem, not an us problem.
Pretty much, yeah. You've been warned. If you can't,
You've been warned.
if you go beyond this point, that's your problem, not ours.
Yes. So, Cletus is sentenced to death after he's found guilty of all these crimes. He has Eddie visit him and provokes him, which causes the Venom symbiote to appear and attack him.
Yeah.
Cletus bites him and takes some of his blood to consume. And while he's sentenced to death by lethal injection, it activates Carnage symbiote and becomes Carnage. And he decides he wants to get his revenge on Venom. Carnage wants to kill Venom, and Cletus has his own agenda, mainly to do with his love interest, Shriek.
Yeah. Who was completely wasted in this fucking movie.
He's completely wasted in this film. But in between all of this, Venom and Eddie have a falling out, which is also kind of completely pointless. That is essentially the plot of the film. Venom versus Carnage.
Yeah, and Venom versus Venom.
Which sounds... And then Venom versus Venom. For some parts. Which sounds fine, Venom versus Carnage,
Yeah.
but you don't get the Venom versus Carnage until literally like the last 20 minutes of this film.
Yeah, most of the movie is like bullshit. Most of the movie is like boring melodrama angst bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
so again with the first film, they just retread the whole Eddie and Anne uh on-off relationship. That he still has feelings for her. She might, but she's already in a relationship, so she wants to move forward. She wants to move on. Like they do that again with this film.
and like
Um, and you
Venom.
have the whole Venom and Eddie falling out. Like just a random part in the film. You have Venom going to a club.
Yeah, like so basically to give some context for what's happening. Venom and Eddie have a vicious argument with each other, and then they have like a falling out because Eddie and Venom kind of get in each other's way. Like Venom wants to eat people, for example, but Eddie obviously won't let him eat people. Venom also wants to like run around and do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and Eddie just wants to have a normal life, but of course Venom wants to be Venom and shit and do his thing, and they just sort of conflict with each other and argue and fight, and it culminates into this big argument where they basically attack each other, and Venom like leaves Eddie's body to go like fuck around and do whatever the fuck he wants to. You know what's really fucked up about this movie? Venom kills a lot of people by like going into their. Well, I don't know if he kills them by leaving their bodies or whatever, but it seems like he kind of leaves a bunch of bodies behind after he can no longer stay in them for a short period of time.
Yeah, I guess so. Plus, he also wants more freedom to eat people, but he doesn't. Or
Yeah, that's
bad
the
people,
weird
but he
thing.
doesn't.
Yeah, that's the
He
weird
just
thing.
he goes to a fucking club. It's just like let aliens be free.
Let
Equal
aliens.
protector out.
Exactly. And it was really weird too because like Venom, it was really weird too because Venom had the chance to eat people, but he chooses not to eat anyone. And it's like Eddie mentions that like it was a role he had, but Venom separated from Eddie, so shouldn't he no longer be on shouldn't he be unbound by those rules and do whatever the fuck he wants to do? Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, not really. And then you have the Carnage escape plot reuniting with Shriek. Like, that was anticlimactic. Like
It really
because
was.
like Shriek was believed to have been killed by Patrick Mulligan like
Yeah.
in like 1996,
Yeah.
but he was actually she actually
Taken to
survived. It
Ravencroft.
was and taken to Ravencroft secretly. You have like the woman that's like keeping them all like there, like contained, and just suddenly, Carnage is there. And fucking Cletus kills her, and like that's it.
You know what's weird about this movie? They introduce mutants and powers and do nothing with it.
Yeah, they just treat him as like it's somewhat of an everyday thing, but it's also a secret.
And it's just like her powers are getting out of control and they were taking her to a place with people like her in it. And it's just like, here's my thing, right? If there's a place where people like Shriek are put or kept, does that mean that there are powers and mutants in this world besides like aliens and shit? Because I was
I,
led to
I
believe
assume so.
I was led to believe there weren't. Cause I
Yeah.
like whenever we see any sort of display of like supernatural ability, it's just from Venom and then an earlier Riot. So it's fucking weird that like they don't do anything with that plot point. Like it's just kind of mentioned and it's kind of mentioned and never referenced again. And then apparently she's being kept in this like facility, and then the doctor who keeps her captured is just killed in a really anticlimactic way. It's just
Yeah, she's
like,
just hung or her neck is snapped.
yeah, she just gets hung.
Yeah. And then this all leads to like they all they all want revenge on Eddie, Venom, and Mulligan. well, Shriek wants revenge on Mulligan for like shooting her in the eye
Yeah.
in the past. So they kidnap Mulligan, then they kidnap Anne to bring the lure Eddie to them. At this point, like Eddie and Venom have gotten over their differences. They're now working together again,
Yeah.
and then it finally gets to the Venom versus Carnage fight that was promised. The last 20 minutes of the film.
And it's,
The only really entertaining part.
yeah, like, everything else is just. I mean, the back and forth with Venom is amusing, but like, it just feels like the pacing is just so slow.
There should have been more development between certain characters. Like, you have like the dynamic between Cletus and Carnage, and then adding Shriek into the mix.
Yeah,
Because
I wish that was still...
Cletus and Shriek are in love with each other, but because of Shriek's powers, Carnage doesn't like her.
Yeah.
She has one of his weaknesses, sound. Like, even like when in that church scene when like they prepare to fight each other, Shriek uses her powers and Carnage just fucking knocks her back. Like tells her to like shut your mouth.
Exactly.
And Cletus is like, what the hell? You should have had more of that. Like leading up to it, like parts of like if they learn about Carnage learns about Shriek's powers and just like, oh, can't have her here. She makes us weak.
Exactly.
Like Cletus is like, no, she's the one true friend and person I loved in all my life. I have to have her by my side. She has to be with me. And like Carnage faking, like, fine then, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like, what's weird about...
If that's what you want, if this leads us to Venom, okay.
Okay.
Like something like that.
Here's my thing. I don't know if you'll feel this way, but I feel like Carnage and Cassidy, or at least the Carnage element, I feel like that was just an afterthought. Like, there was no real, like...
It's like, hey, we need a symbiote again.
Yeah,
we need a symbiote to fight. Who better than we set up Cletus at the end of the first film and the post credits. But guys, Carnage.
Yeah, there's no build up between them. That, like, you know what's funny, right? And I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but Riot and the guy whose name I can't remember from the last movie, they had a more fleshed out relationship than like Carnage and like fucking Cletus Cassidy did.
Let's see. I'm trying. What was the guy's name? Carlton Drake.
Yeah, like they had an actually fleshed out relationship. Like there was actually like a dynamic built between them. Like you knew that Riot was using him or whatever, but like at least their relationship was more fleshed out. Whereas with Carnage, it just felt like, oh, we needed a symbiote. Who's a symbiote? Oh, Carnage. I feel like the director was more interested in this, like, in like whatever, in like this weird character dynamic between Venom and Eddie than he was with like anything else, because it takes up most of the fucking movie.
Yeah, the whole Venom Eddie falling out, and then also the Eddie Ann stuff is like the majority of the film. The Cletus Carnage stuff is really in the background until the last 20 minutes.
Like, I mean, like, don't get us wrong, right? Like, they do show scenes of like Carnage, of like Cletus causing like calamity and shit, and like just being a general bad guy and shit. Like, that is there, but it's sandwiched in between these long periods of just kind of uninteresting, like, melodrama. Like,
yeah,
like they're just like kind of peppered in there. And again, like, I get it. There's more to a movie than ooh cool unga bunga fight scenes, but like it felt like excessive. It like the time, the amount of time they focused between Venom and Eddie's relationship felt unbalanced with the rest of the movie. Like there should have been like in my opinion, there should have been multiple skirmishes between Venom and Carnage. There should have been multiple fights.
exactly, yeah.
There should have been multiple fights. There should have been multiple and there should have been Shriek should have been used more. She was really grossly underutilized in this fucking movie.
Yeah. And then also continuing the trend of pale white characters race swap to be black. Remember they did that with Domino and Deadpool 2?
Someone told me that Shriek was always black. Is she not black?
Was she?
Someone told
Don't
me
know
she was
because
black.
the character is pale white like Domino. Let me have a look.
Oh my god! In the movie they just made Domino look like she was in blackface. Like that was so embarrassing.
They color swapped her because she's portrayed by a black actress, so the iconic like spot that she has in her face is now white.
So it looks so fucking weird.
I'll see if I can find I don't think there's any images of like Shriek before she. No, she's always portrayed as like pale white. I don't know if she was actually like black.
Get an albino chick to fucking play her then.
Yeah. But yeah, like I don't know, there was like there's weird pacings in here. There's a lot of like stuff that just didn't matter. Like I keep referencing, the club scene was so pointless. You could have just cut that out.
Like that was a waste of time. You know what? That scene could have been replaced by a badass fight scene, because we get lots of carnage. We get lots of carnage. Like no pun intended. When it comes to like him just destroying police and killing random people and shit. But like I don't want to. But like that shit gets boring after like the 15th time you see it. I wanted to see fucking Carnage and Venom fight. Instead, it's just focused so heavily on the dynamic between Eddie and Venom that like everything else is just kind of pushed to the side, and it just feels like it's just there.
Yeah.
Also,
And then we have the most random, baffling scene: creation of toxin.
oh my god! Wait, before we get to there, I kind of want to rant about this a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You know, it pissed me off the fact that Carnage, like, I know that Carnage as a symbiote doesn't have a personality. I know that Carnage, because of the way Carnage was created, he's just Cletus Cassidy in a symbiote suit. But, like, the way they did Carnage in this movie was so weird. He's basically just evil Venom. Like, that's basically, he's just evil Venom. Like, that's pretty much it. He doesn't really have, like, a distinct personality. He's just evil Venom and tells, like, Shriek to shut the fuck up. That's basically it. He's just...
Yeah, plus the thing is, with at least Carnage in the comics, Carnage and Cassidy have a stronger bond than Venom and Eddie. Hence why Carnage is usually more, like, violent and more powerful than Venom. And, like, in, like, a lot of the earlier stories with, like the debut of Carnage, like Maximum Carnage, which apparently this film is partially based off. Like Spider-Man would always have to call in Venom for help, or like other like heroes, anti-heroes, or whatever, to help deal with Carnage. He's always much more powerful.
But like, yeah, in this.
But no, there really isn't that much of a bond.
Yeah, like it's pretty clear that like Carnage like forcefully uses like Cletus to do shit for him. Like at the end of the movie, like they have no real bond. Like even Venom says it, like even Eddie says it, like they aren't symbiotic. They don't have a symbiotic relationship, which is weird because like Cletus has such a tight relationship with Carnage that they're basically the same person. Whereas you don't really have that in this movie. In this movie, like Carnage is just like generic evil bad guy. Oh, also they never explained why he wanted to kill Venom. Like they never do. They never explain why.
Yeah,
And
he's
Venom
just. I just want to kill Venom. That's it.
also Venom gets scared that he's a red one, and I don't know if he explained why that matters or not, or if that's a comic book thing. Like your
I
knowledge of
don't know
comics is
either.
much stronger than mine. So
I, I
like
I don't know because like not counting any of the other symbiotes that appeared on Earth, every other symbiote is kind of Venom in appearance. It's just the black goo.
yeah, they're just black and gooey.
Goo. I think I don't know why like
I think
a red symbiote is dangerous.
yeah,
Is
I mean
scarier. I don't know.
the only exception that one of the few exceptions that I can think of is like Scream, because she was like a
Yeah,
yellow symbiote. Hell, I thought that's who this
yeah,
bitch.
yellowy red or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what would have been badass if she was fucking Scream and if she was fucking if like instead of Shriek it was just some chick who got Scream.
yeah.
Then
Well,
you'd have like
they alter the origin and Carnage creates Scream instead.
yeah, that would be fucking cool as hell.
And then
Like
Venom would have to split itself. So Venom and She Venom would have to fight together.
exactly, and Venom would have to fight like two people at the same time.
I mean, yeah.
Like that would have been
And
fucking
would have
cool.
in his and Venom's power would technically be halved because he would be in two hosts at the
Yeah,
same time.
trying to fight like two villains at the same time, and it could have, and that could have created a stronger love story between him and Anne.
Yeah.
Instead we get this just kind of boring love story between like kind of boring like dynamic between Anne and like Venom. I'm sorry, Anne and Eddie.
Yeah.
Well, like also like also the Patrick Mulligan scenes. I almost called him Peter Mulligan. The fuck. Also, the Patrick Mulligan scenes are fucking boring.
Yeah. He's just there because guys, he's toxin. And yeah, for somehow he fucking becomes toxin.
Oh yeah, now we can get to that part.
Now we can get just like after like because it seems like he's killed
Yeah.
by Shriek. After Venom eats Carnage and then eats Cletus, like everything's done, but then like as everyone leaves, like you still see that like Mulligan may be alive, and then his eyes flash blue. And it's like that's how they set up fucking Toxin? Really?
So
How?
so here's how I think they're going to try and get away with it, right? I think I think they're gonna say like when Carnage wrapped up Peter Mulligan, like
Patrick.
Patrick. Why do I keep calling him Peter Mulligan? Patrick
Probably
Mulligan.
probably confused by Peter Milligan.
Yes, thank you. Patrick Mulligan, right? When he has them wrapped up, they're probably gonna say that like some of Carnage's like evil goo got into like Patrick Mulligan's body. But then that wouldn't make any fucking sense anyway. Because
Why would he willingly let that happen?
I mean maybe like some of it just got into his body and like I don't know, like it rubbed on him and shit, and you like some of the goo shit got into his body somehow, and then his eyes went blue. I don't fucking get it, cause like being choked to death doesn't make your eyes turn blue. Like, and somehow he survives, and he says monsters, they're all monsters, and his eyes are blue, and it's just like this is the set. I guess this is the setup for Toxin, but then if you're going to set up Toxin, like, can you at least do it in a more coherent way than like, oh shit, I forgot, we got to set up Toxin for the next movie? Because you know that's what that was. It was them setting up Toxin for the next
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. But the weird thing is how I don't know how you could do Toxin without Carnage, because Carnage is kind of really essential to Toxin, at least like earlier on, because in the comics, like the whole thing is like Carnage knew that it was going to give birth to another symbiote, and he was worried that it was going to be more powerful than him. And Venom knew this and wanted to get Toxin as a partner. But Toxin just goes out on his own because he doesn't want to be he doesn't be held down by either Carnage or Venom. Because in that story, in the comics, like Carnage was like, as soon as I give birth to like a symbiote and put it into a host to keep it away from Venom, I'm gonna kill both of them, the symbiote and the host, because he doesn't want that symbiote being like possibly stronger than him. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Well, as we've seen with this films, they don't really care about the comics, so...
Not really. Like, it just seems like there's no real... It seems like I said, I think the director was more interested in exploring, like, the character dynamics between, like, Venom and Eddie than it was with, like, oh, wait, I forgot. I have the rest of a movie to do. Because, like, Jesus fucking Christ. Also, the movie really had no plot. Like, it was, like... Most of it was filler until they got to, like, oh, big fight scene, unga bunga.
Yeah.
Like, cause like, look at how most of the movie went. It was just so fucking shallow. It was just.
Oh boy, I'm reading this up. There will be a third Venom film.
Really?
Tom Hardy said he signed on for a third one. This was like 3 years ago.
Okay.
They want to delve more into the multiverse stuff. They want Spider-Man to cross over with the film somehow. They want to explore more of this, other prisoners in Ravencroft in other films. Oh boy, they want to somehow tie in the fucking symbiote dragon.
Are you serious?
Grendel from Donny Cates's Venom run.
So they want to explore more symbiotes?
I feel like they want to fucking bring in Null.
This soon?
Hearing that, Skull just fucking came in his pants.
Null is coming! When was this interview anyway?
A couple of months ago.
See if they mention Toxin.
That's a video. I'll look it up later.
Alright.
Because I don't know, like... Well, I feel like they wanted to keep Toxins hidden. That was the secret.
Alright, yeah, what was that? Like, Toxin is coming. Toxin is coming, everybody! And he's gonna be in the movie for like 5 minutes before he gets killed, like every other fucking symbiote in this.
So, what would you rate Venom Let There Be Carnage out of 10?
I'll give it a 7.
7?
That's too high for you, isn't it?
That is definitely too high for me. I'd give this a 5. This is average. Which is funny because the previous film, the first Venom, I also think was average. I would rather watch that film.
Yeah, because at least something happened, and the villain was like...
Shit happened in that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch
it? It may not have been the best film. I thought it was a very average film. But I'd rather watch that than Let There Be Carnage.
Also, like, notice how Riot's relationship with his host was actually somewhat fleshed out. Like,
yeah.
Like, and the villain for that one was pretty crazy too. He was just like, we're going to kill everybody and create, like, because the environment is in danger, guys. Like,
we're gonna bring more symbiotes to this planet.
You know what really pisses me off? I wanted Hybrid. But they killed all the Liefeld Foundation symbiotes.
The Life Foundation ones, yeah.
Oh, why did I call it the Liefeld?
You said the Liefeld.
The fuck is wrong with me? The Life Foundation.
Yeah. The Liefeld Foundation. It's just a bunch of symbiote feet that aren't drawn properly.
And Captain America.
Everyone has pouches. Everyone has fucking square jaws.
Captain America is there with like giant breasts for some reason.
Fucking muscle breasts and everything. Yeah. But yeah, I'd give this film a 5 out of 10. This was average. It was a very average film.
Pretty much, it's like.
I think anything high, I would not give. I was thinking, maybe a 6. I'm like, nah, this is average. I'm giving it a 5, right in the middle.
Let me say, basically, so for people who are wondering why I gave it a higher score, I'll basically break it down like this. 1, I'm so tired of woke shit that, like, I have very low standards for everything now. Like, you could make a movie, like, what's that stupid fucking He-Man cartoon they made that recently made He-Man
The Kevin Smith one?
No, there's this one that Hasbro made that is for, like, little-ass kids. I'm like,
I don't remember that one.
That's a fucking masterpiece compared to the Kevin Smith He-Man. Like, I will give, like, holy shit, it's for little-ass fucking kids. And I'm like, this is brilliant cinema. This is brilliant cinema. Like, because that's how low my standards are right now for like any sort of like Western entertainment. So also, like, I kind of enjoyed it somewhat. Like, it wasn't, like, kind of enjoyed it a bit more than Chris did. That's why I'm giving it a 7. Like, I liked the banter between Eddie and Venom was the highlight was like a good part of the movie for me. Although it got, like, a little tedious when instead of Carnage, we got but on the negatives for me, like, Carnage was such a letdown in this movie because it's fucking Carnage. Like, he's an iconic villain. And, like, Cassidy's an icon. These are iconic villains. And they were treated so shittily in this movie. Like, Carnage was a fucking afterthought. They treated him worse than they treated fucking Riot. And who the fuck is Riot? Like, no one knows who the fuck Riot is as a fucking villain. Like, I know more about the fucking symbiotes than, like, most people fucking do. Like, fucking, like, holy shit. And instead of giving us fucking Carnage, we get nothing. We get, like, this shitty, generic, like, bad guy. Like, instead of, like, a proper fucking villain in Carnage. That pissed me the fuck off, man. Holy shit. I really wanted more from fucking Carnage. And I fucking love symbiotes, too. But instead we get this lame fucking afterthought bullshit that was just haphazardly thrown together. Holy shit. Again, like, there was more done with fucking Riot. And Riot's such a, like, nobody fucking villain. Like, oh my fucking god, man. Like, who the fuck knows who Riot is as a villain any fucking way? Like, holy shit. Like, oh my fucking god, man. Like, that shit, like, holy shit. Fucking Scream is more of a notable villain than fucking Riot is. But no, we get nothing from fucking Carnage. Except just some bullshit, except just this fucking bullshit where he just goes, shut your mouth, and that's about it. And his voice sucked. I hate his fucking voice. Holy shit. Fuck this movie. There we go. I'm done. Is there anything you would like to add?
Not really.
Alright.
No. I probably wouldn't recommend this. I'm guessing you won't really either.
Like, I'll recommend it to people who like Venom. If you liked Venom, you probably will like this movie.
I guess so, yeah.
Also, I'm sorry, Skull. It's just the parts with Carnage really pissed me off. Because I really love Carnage as a villain. Carnage and Venom are like, because I really love the symbiotes. Like, I like the symbiotes as characters and shit. And the fact that Carnage was treated so poorly and this just pissed me the fuck off. Well, anyway,
yeah.
So like that's our. I guess that concludes our
Talk of Venom.
Venom. Gotta get some
Let there
Venom.
be carnage.
Let there be carnage!
On, third film. Eminem needs to be in it.
Yes.
If it's about multiverses, it's multiverse Eminem singing about Venom.
Yes, I want to see multiple Eminems rapping about Venom.
Multiple Eminem throughout his years.
Exactly.
You have like Slim Shady, you have like 8 Mile, and then you have
Like now
Trump derangement syndrome.
you have TDS you have TDS Eminem.
Yeah, but that's also Venom Eminem. Eminem.
Like it's a shit. Like Eminem went from like this controversial, like hyper offensive rapper to like this boring PC bitch who just goes like Venom, Venom, gotta get that Venom, Venom.
That Venom knock like the devil in.
Shitty PC Eminem sucks.
But speaking of things that don't suck, Dune. That was the first film we actually watched. We watched Dune. Actually, time of recording, we had just finished watching Venom, but we watched Dune the week before.
Yes, we did.
Yes. So Dune, this is the second film adaptation. I know there was a TV show adaptation, I think. So this is the third adaptation overall, I believe. First film by David Lynch. Wasn't the best from what I heard. Has a lot of pacing problems because he tried to put in the entire book into a film.
Yep, and you can't do that.
I don't think Dune as a story. I don't think works. And it is one of those materials that cannot be adapted properly into a film unless you are doing it as parts.
Which is what they did.
Which is what they are doing with this film. So, for those who don't know the story of Dune, Dune takes place on Arrakis, where the House of Atreides, led by Duke Leto, with his son Paul and his concubine Jessica, they are the new rulers of Arrakis. They're the replacement of the deathly evil, the villains. House Conan. Yes.
Yeah.
I have all the names up here so I can fucking remember them, because Arrakis has the only source of spice, something that extends human vitality and is critical for interstellar travel. It is the most valuable substance in existence, and it's on this planet, and House Atreides are in charge of it for now. But stuff happens. Paul has been having visions of a certain woman on Arrakis, and as all of this is going on, House Harkonnen is leading their coup to take back Arrakis for themselves. That is essentially dumbed down. That is the plot of Dune, as it's revealed. Part 1. This is part 1 of I don't know how many parts. I'm going to assume 2. I will say this was risky.
It was
making it a part 1, because
there's
I know a lot of people that were criticizing it is like, oh, this is only like half of the book. The David Lynch one was the full film. Like, yeah, but the David Lynch one had huge pacing problems because it was the entirety of a book into one film.
Also, here's one thing too about it, like, mentioning how risky it is. It's like so the movie underperformed at the box office. It didn't pull in it, but they're still going ahead with the sequel, from what I understand. Now, it could have just as easily been that decided that they not go ahead with the sequel since it underperformed, and then you would get essentially half a movie. But now they're going with the sequel. So we're at least getting more. We're at least going to get a full movie. But honestly, as somebody who watched it and enjoyed it, I didn't like the fact that it felt like half of a movie, because I was waiting for things to. I was kind of waiting for things to happen, because it is kind of a slow movie, and I was waiting.
Yeah, this is a slow burn film, which I can see as a reason why some people will not like this. I liked this film. Personally,
yeah,
I can see why people would not like this. One, it's only literally half of the story. and two, it's a real slow burn film.
Exactly. It's not something you should go into expecting like so one thing I thought would really hurt the movie is the advertising for it because they show a lot of these like big intense fight scenes and battles and it gets you
Yeah,
excited for like this big like like action packed movie and
yeah,
it's not that.
an epic story. Yeah,
Yeah, this movie with an epic scale, and like, no, it's not that. It
yeah, and
is,
some of those are revealed to be just Paul's visions.
yeah. So like, so you don't even really get to see a lot of those fights, and like some of the action pieces aren't even shown on screen because they'll like in the middle of a fight or when a fight's about to happen, they'll switch to another character doing something else completely different. So you should not go into this movie expecting these like just like wow crazy fucking epic battles. You should go in expecting a character driven piece where with some exposition but a lot of like conversation between the characters. Or
Yeah,
like also one problem I had with the movie is that I felt like certain things happened where without really without like explanation seemingly like some character motivations happened without like explanation like I forgot what the boy's name was. What is the main what
Paul.
is Paul? There we go. I thought it
Paul.
was Paul. So lots of Pauls and Patricks. So basically, Paul is like essentially portrayed as this confused young boy who wants to do shit, but he isn't allowed to do anything, and he's kind of like he's kind of pushed around and shit into different places. Not because his parents are like assholes or anything. No, his father's like probably one of the coolest dudes in this fucking movie. It's just
Yeah,
that he's it's just like the that he really doesn't know what to do with himself, so he's just kind of going along with his father and because he doesn't know what to do and even his father is kind of like whatever you decide to do, I'll support you because you're my son and that's all you really need to be, which is why his father is fucking awesome. But
yeah.
like out of nowhere he decides he wants to become the emperor and it's like when did you come to that conclusion that you wanted to become the
Yeah.
emperor?
'Cause I haven't read the book. I bought the book after watching this film. I'm like, I'm gonna go fucking read the book now because, like, actually, one of those books I've always had on my list of like shit I need to read. So I finally bought the book. I think in both the David Lynch film and I think in the book, there's a lot of internal dialogue
Yeah,
or monologues where the characters explain how they're feeling, stuff like that. I feel like this film could have done with a bit more of that. There are some parts of it. Paul does it sometimes. But I feel like there should have been more. But yeah, that whole suddenly just like I'm going to become the emperor to like stop the not only just the Harkonnens but to like properly free Arrakis. So, like no one tries to take this planet for spice or whatever.
yeah,
And he's kind of motivated by his visions of like what he sees. Um, yeah, like which is weird because this film also does really do a lot of good showing and not telling. Show you something, they don't have to outright tell you what this means. Like, um, showing like what kind of ruler Paul's father Leto is like. He joins them on the whole like showing the spice harvesters. And like when the sandworm is about to approach the spice harvesters, he's just like, okay, we're going down there to rescue them because the, the original transport that was going to rescue them, their equipment failed. It's like, hey, we're gonna go down there. We're gonna go down there and rescue them, and and help them. And it's just like, with like little dialogue, without anyone explaining what kind of ruler he is, you understand what kind of ruler Leto is.
Yeah, you understand.
He's on the front lines. Lives are more important.
Exactly, like the lives of his men and the lives of his people are more important than spice.
Yes. And then even when like that shit, what was his name? That guy, what was his character name? Hawat, like the general guy.
Yeah,
Which is like, I failed to stop this assassination attempt. I'll take my life to I'll take my own life um bring back my honor. And Leader's like, I don't care about your honor. Like, if you care so much about honor, then go find out who attempted this.
exactly. He's like, he's not gonna have one of his people like kill themselves over something.
Yeah,
Over
like
this.
killed or executed because they failed him.
Exactly, because he's more of an honorable person than that. Now, like House Harkonnen would probably do that, like.
Oh yeah, House Harkonnen would just like straight up just kill someone with no reason. They would just straight up just kill someone.
Remember
Like
when they
yeah, and then like
remember-
then the friendship between Paul and Duncan, you just understand that they're friends. You don't need someone like, this is Duncan. He's my best friend in the world. We met yada 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 yada. You just understand that they're friends and what the kind of their friendship is like.
Exactly, and you just understand that they have a friendship with each other.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the kind of like because that's the kind of like relationship they have where you understand that that like the characters' relationships aren't like told to you like this is my friend, he's awesome. Like no, it's like oh, like you see how they interact with each other through relationships and through their relationships with one another.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so. That's what makes it. That's what makes the relationships, especially with the king, so good. Like you understand that Paul has a great relationship with his father because they show you how
Yeah.
they easily talk to each other. Not so much with his mother, but like that's because she's kind of a shady bitch. But like you understand that he has like these like great relationships, that he has like this positive relationship with his dad and shit, and that his dad was a good ruler. Hell, like he even honors his like he's even like he was even willing to make a partnership with the Freeman.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
even
Wants to do a better job than House Harkonnen wants to repair any forge new relationships.
even the free even
Is it well mainly because the planet is so valuable, so he kind of has to.
yeah, even the Freeman leader had like a little bit of respect for him too. Because he
Yeah.
said
For like the very little that they had, like yeah, and then when they meet him again,
he said
it's still God. It's just like is yes, you were there. You were Leto's son. He was a
yeah,
great man.
exactly. He's like, he said like, what did he say? Like, you don't seem like the boy isn't a weakling, and neither was his father. Like
Yeah.
he like so yeah, like the guy commanded respect,
Yeah.
and he like
Then also yeah, and then also with the showing not telling, even with like their technology, the shield, you just get the
the hint
Paul
of what it
and
does.
Gurney,
Yeah,
Josh Brolin's character Thanos, when
Thanos.
they do
Whatever.
like a sparring match, you understand how their shield works. He doesn't do the whole like now Paul, this is this is our shielding system. It protects you from blunt damage, but if it piercing or slashes, they can get through the shields. He doesn't say that. You see that with how they spar. Like okay, a blunt hit won't really penetrate the shield, but more of a direct stab or a slash that will. Then again, when like and Leto is attacked by that doctor guy with like the paralyzing dart. Like you see that straight up. It doesn't even go blue. It just goes straight red. Red means that it's penetrating the shield. That it's going to be fatal or injure them. You see straight away. not like the Doctor's gonna come in and is like, haha, I knew that. See, yeah, your shield is no match for my paralyzing dart because it's a piercing object.
No, it's just basically like they just leave it up to the. They just kind of leave it up to you to understand that like
Yeah.
it pierced because like it's an object. Like they pierced because that's how the shields work. They can't stop, things from penetrate. They can't stop it if something's directly penetrating it.
Yeah. And then for some stuff they do the whole telling, but I feel like for those things you kind of have to.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Can't just like show it and be like, that's it. And they just both the people in this film and you, the audience, automatically understand. It's not going to work with some of the things.
I feel like a lot of the exposition didn't come from explaining things. It came from explaining like emotions or people or how someone was feeling. So in that way, I will say it did kind of tell, not show, basically, because
but it didn't do it for everything. It did it for stuff that needed it. Like when the Freeman leader Stilgar just spits on the ground. Like if that was just it, you would just think like he was just being disrespectful. But no, but then you need Duncan, who has been like working with the Freemans to explain. That's like we thank you, Stilgar, for the exchange of your bodily fluids. It's like, oh, it's a sign of respect because they're on a planet that's always hot, and like water and like fluids and stuff valuable, yada yada yada. Okay, need someone like Duncan there to explain that because no one else is going to get it.
Exactly.
The people of House Atreides, the soldiers, they won't understand because they don't know a lot about Arrakis. They don't know a lot about those customs. Duncan will because he's scouted out. He's been there longer. You need someone like Duncan to explain what the hell Stilgar just did because it just looked like it was disrespecting him by just like spitting on the ground. No, it's actually a sign of respect.
It's like Also, it's like it's the biggest sign of it's the sign of respect, and like I don't know. I feel like a few things could go without explanation, but like for the most part, I'd agree that like they explained things that they needed to explain and didn't explain things that they didn't need to explain, or didn't explain too much.
Or even sometimes when they explain things, it feels like there should have been more added to it. Like the whole like Doctor betrays them.
I will say, like, someone mentioned, I forgot, it was someone on Midnight, what is it, Midnight TV? Midnight something. Some YouTube channel, something, Midnight something. Anyway, they basically said that, the guy basically said that he wished they would have showed how, like, more of the, like, how, more of the Freeman, basically. Like, because the only time you really see the Freeman, you just see, like, you just see, like, 2 black dudes and, like, 1 Hispanic dude and, like, whatever the fuck Zendaya is. Like,
Yeah.
Like, he wish they would have showed, like, how the Freemen are made up of the races of the galaxy, basically.
Yeah.
More, and I was just like, I can see that.
Yeah.
As far as like the everything else, like I gotta say I really liked a lot of it. Also,
I think we both kind of agreed with this. The villain is kind of a side note.
Yeah, he is. He's barely
Vladimir
in the movie.
Baron. Yeah.
Yeah, the Baron.
He's more of a. He pushes the pieces into places.
Yeah, Baron Harkonnen is barely in the movie.
Yeah, he's just there to like, okay, I am going to be the villain, and I will start the plots and stuff, but like, that's it.
I am evil! Ha 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 ha. Also, I forgot, Jess said something, and I forgot what did he say. Let me see. Oh shit, I lost it. Basically, like, it was, let me see, the movie itself, I gotta admit, was The movie itself was pretty fucking good. The movie itself was, uh, it was good. I'd say I enjoyed a good deal. I enjoyed a good deal of it. I thought, you know what I thought was really fascinating, right? This is something I forgot to mention. What I thought was really fascinating, and I don't think anyone would ever, and I don't know who's brought it up or mentioned it, but I thought it was really interesting, and I wish we had talked about it before. This is the first time I've ever seen a female only organization have like a woman have like a member who like willingly betrayed their order to give power to a male, which I found interesting.
Ooh, yeah, that's true.
Like
I think so, yeah.
it's kind of like how it reminded me of what's that fucking what is that like Wonder Woman's son basically how
Yeah.
it reminded me a lot of that. Like it reminded me of the idea of like because she was ordered to only have daughters, but she had a son anyway, and like their leader called it like an an aberration or something like that. Like
Abomination.
Yeah, she called it an abomination, and I really loved that. I was like, that's interesting.
The fact that she was still teaching their ways to him.
Yeah, which means that he's the first male.
Because
Who
he
knows
could
their ways.
he could be the their kind of messiah.
Yes, which I really thought was interesting, because that means that like a male is their messiah, which is fucking fascinating for that type of order because you never really see that portrayed in literature much.
Yeah. And I will say, something we haven't really talked about with this, the fucking visuals in this film.
Ooh, the
My
visuals are
God,
astounding. Oh
fucking
my God.
visuals are so good, and with the lack of color, it's dull. It's a lot of dull, saturated colors a lot of the time.
Yeah, it does.
It still looks so amazing.
It doesn't look like a Snyder.
Magnificent.
It doesn't look like a Snyder movie. Oh, you know what's funny? You know how many people tell me that Eternals looks like? You know what? Multiple people have said that Eternals looks like a Zack Snyder film. I think you were one of them.
Going by like a lot of the coloring, it seems like it.
Like also since we talked about Eternals, take a look at what I posted in the chat.
Yeah, I know, I've seen it.
Like, dude, like, but yeah, like the movie itself. The movie itself, I do like. I gotta say one thing. I gotta say about the movie. Like one thing I gotta say about the movie itself is that it is beautifully shot. Like it has these just wide scenes where you can see everything. The ship designs are so interesting. The culture is illustrated in such an interesting way. Like everything. Remember the first, like even when you see the first, like the first introduction to the movie is so visually, it's like visually stunning. Remember the black dude who was the herald of the emperor,
Yeah.
and he was led by those guys in the helmets. I'm like, that looks fucking dope, bro. Like everything about the movie itself is like, it's not just the thing about Dune is like it's not just um it's not just like a decent sort of sci-fi movie, but it's like it's really good sci-fi literature, like properly translated into film.
Yeah.
Like the characters are interesting, the visuals are interesting, everything about it is really visually stunning. And then when you do, like, I gotta say one thing, I really like the design for for House Harkonnen's like home planet.
Yeah.
Like I like the way House Harkonnen's planet kind of it like it looks so evil. It looks like it looks so evil and menacing, but it's done in such a good way. And like this movie is such a sharp contrast to fucking to Venom because like while a lot of stuff didn't happen because like we said like a lot of the action it's very light on action but very like heavy on like plot and detail and story. Like the story went somewhere and it didn't feel like a bunch of random shit was just happening because they needed to fill time before like unga bunga fight scenes, you know?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
And the last and like it was entertaining all the way through instead of like the last 20 minutes. And I am really hard on that movie, even though I liked it more than you did.
Yeah. So, what would you rate Dune? Dune 2021.
I would rate it.
Dune Part 1.
I would rate it
10.
a solid 8. What about
Solid
you?
8?
Yep.
Yeah. I think when after we watched it, I said I'd give this a 7 out of 10. I'm willing to bump it up to an 8 because of the visuals.
Yeah, so am I. You were
Yeah.
giving it a 7 out of 10? Like, I forgot. You're actually a tough critic. I forgot about that. You're actually a really tough
I mean, I liked it, but I can also see why some other people wouldn't.
You know what? You've convinced me. I'm going with 7.5, actually.
7.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'm 7 or 8.
I'm going with
Say
7.5.
I'll go 8. 8 out of 10.
All right.
This is a good film. It was risky making it only half of the book. From what I've heard, it's literally just half the book. So,
yeah.
but the risk paid off. It's getting a sequel. Comes out in 2 years. I can see why some people would not like this. It is a very slow burn film. But I think with visuals, a lot of the characters and stuff, it's a pretty good film. I enjoyed a lot of this. I definitely recommend it.
It was a visually stunning movie. Like everything, the visuals were great. The characterizations were excellent. The characters themselves were interesting. The motivations of each character made sense for the most part. Like and the characters were likable.
Yeah.
I liked everybody. I liked everybody. I thought they were all interesting. Like House Harkonnen was just like I liked Baron Harkonnen when he was like when he was like Arrakis will kill everybody. My Arrakis. Blah, 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 blah. Remember? Oh, there was a really like. I will say one thing though. At first, I was pissed off at that the father got killed. So that the father got killed without because I knew he would die. But at first, I was kind of upset about how he got taken out. But then when he blew like poison in the room in front of everybody, I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's fucking dope. I love that. He got to have his revenge. At least a little bit, anyway, even if he didn't get to kill Baron Harkonnen.
Killed everyone else, but...
Yeah, he killed everybody else in the room. But he still,
it's just the Baron's made of tougher stuff.
The Baron's made of sterner stuff. I think he was hiding on the ceiling.
Yeah, when one of his advisors or something went to go check the room after the poison was cleared.
Yeah.
It's found all the dead bodies and just looked up and the Baron was on the ceiling.
Yeah. Like, I guess he was trying to get away from the poison.
Oh, we can see him a lot of times. The Baron isn't exactly humanoid.
Yeah. He's up here floating around and shit, so yeah.
Floating around, he's on the fucking ceiling and everything. There's more to the Baron
yeah,
than there seems to be.
Yeah, he's doing cartwheels in outer space and shit.
Got some metal shit on his spine or something.
Like, I want to do that. I want to have metal shit sticking out of my spine. And then transform into a transformer.
But yes, that was Dune. That was our talk about Dune. Go watch it. Support it.
You
Fucking... Don't watch Eternals, watch Dune.
Exactly. Don't... That's the thing about Eternals, is like, it's such a boring fucking movie.
All is it's going to make money. Because it's a Disney film.
Oh, no.
Regardless of all these terrible reviews, I feel like
you know what? You know what?
Still gonna somehow make money.
You know what? It may make money, but like Shang-Chi only recently broke even. And fucking only recently broke even. And Black Widow was just like on the like when it came out. So you know what? There's hope. There's hope that Eternals can bomb. I'm just holding out hope that Eternals will do poorly. That Eternals will be like a financial disaster for Disney. That would be so fucking great. And then the salt on Twitter will be fucking amazing. There was something that just said about Dune, and I'm trying to remember what it was that he said about Dune. He said something, and I wanted to make fun of him about it, but I don't remember what it was. We're at 1 hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
Like always, we always cut it just... Yeah, we cut it just short of an hour.
The previous one was almost 1.5 hours.
You know what we gotta do? We gotta make a long form one. Not long form. I'm fucking retarded. We gotta make a long one next time. For the people who are like, we want a longer episode. Actually, we should probably ask people if they want a longer episode.
Sure.
Then again, it would be more editing for you, so that might not be fair. I don't know. What do you think, Chris? Can you handle a longer episode? Okay. Well, there you go. Chris does not care. That answers that question.
There we go.
Alright. So, I guess that wraps up Dune, Venom, and the Valkyrae update. What else did he send me? I really want to talk about what fucking Jess sent me, but I can't remember what it was. Let me see. I know it wasn't about Biden shitting himself. That wasn't about...
We can save it for next time once you find it.
Sure. Like, there was some rumor that Biden shit himself in front of the Pope.
That'd be pretty funny. And kind of believable.
What do you think? Like, I like the fact that I live in a timeline where my president... Where there's a rumor that my president may or may not have shit himself in front of the Pope. People voted for this. There you go. Oh, you know what? You get what
he's the other side of the spectrum.
The autism spectrum, I guess. Anyway. Chris.
Yes?
I have one more thing I want to say.
Okay, yeah?
Jess likes Birds of Prey.
It's true, yes. Make sure you tell him that, everyone. Remind him. He likes Birds of Prey.
Never let him live that down.
Yes.
You know what? We should actually watch that movie.
Do we have to?
Black Mask is in it.
Yeah, but it's fucking underutilized.
That's true, and he only has the mask on for like 5 minutes before he dies.
Should have had the high ground.
I have the high ground now! Alright, so... I guess there's nothing left to say, so I guess I'll do the outro.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Minorities Report podcast. I'm Corrupt.
I'm Chris.
And stay tuned next time for another, neck-breaking, whiplash-inducing episode of, this high-performance podcast.
Yeah. I think Eternals comes out in 2 days.
Oh, God, I don't want to watch that movie.
We've unfortunately already promised that we would.
Oh, God, that's going to be so bad. If I may rant for just a bit.
Yeah.
People don't understand how bad that movie is going to be. It looks so boring. Even, the pro-diversity, yay, people are this movie fucking sucks. Oh, my God. And it's 2 hours. Was Venom that long?
Venom was an hour... No, Venom was 97 minutes, I think.
Oh, my God.
An hour and a half.
Jesus fucking Christ. Why make the movie 2 hours long?
Eternals is 156 minutes.
Jesus
It's 2.5 hours.
Christ. Damn. And then, and it's gonna be full of the same. It's gonna be full of boring fucking dialogue, boring conversations, uninteresting shit, uninteresting scenery, lame fucking quips. Oh my God. And the villains. They're just CGI monsters that look really shitty. That's it. They're just really shitty looking CGI monsters. And we're gonna have to watch that for 2 hours. 2 fucking hours. Oh
2.5.
God. 2.5.
Roughly, yeah.
2.5 hours of just boring fucking conversations. Oh my God. I have a confession to make.
What?
When it came to the Black Widow thing, I was so glad that my power was... because we were originally supposed to watch Black Widow, right?
In one sitting, yeah.
Yeah, in one sitting. We had to do it in 2 because of my power. I was so glad that my power was out. Oh my God. Because that movie made me... I was falling asleep. It was so boring. And now I have to watch the fucking Eternals. Oh my God. And I know Jess is gonna be like, why do you watch movies you don't want to watch? Because we run a culture podcast, and Eternals is unfortunately a part of the culture.
Yes. And we already said we'd be watching it, as much as we don't want to, but we have to stick to our word.
Exactly, and
Plus, if we're gonna criticize the film, we might as well fucking watch it.
Yeah, we might as well watch the thing we're criticizing. Are you sure it's coming out in 2 days?
Checking. Well, it's already fucking out here. In Australia, it's already out. At least comes out tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us again.
Rant over.
Yes. Anyway, thank you for joining us again. We're going to watch Revice, and all of you can fuck off. So, later.
Bye.